All right. So today we are going to talk to you guys about how to build a college list. Okay. Your college list is going to be the core of everything that you guys are doing towards your post graduation plans. So, just as a bit of a review, we talked about the fact that all of you guys have different goals when you graduate, right? Some of you guys are going straight to work. Some of you guys are going into the military. Some of you are going to do some type of apprenticeship, which means that you have some on the job training to learn a skill or a trade. Some of you are taking a gap year, whatever that means. Because a gap year is supposed to be when you go and you travel and you do some volunteer work or you do something that's really meaningful, and intentional to kind of, get your juices flowing to kind of figure out what you want to do with your life. And then most people's gap years, they're just not going to school and they're working. That just means you're working. It doesn't mean it's a gap year. All right. The second thing that you guys would do, some of you guys may be doing a trade or a technical school. Some of you may be doing a 2-year associate's degree from a community college. And some of you guys are going to get a 4-year degree called a bachelor's degree. Okay? So with that all goes into the list that you're trying to put together. You're going to get an email from me either tomorrow or Friday about an interview and resume workshop that is hosted by Chick-fil-A. You're going to get it first, and then it's going to go out to the entire school because we're going to have a job fair here sometime in April. Okay? So I want to go ahead and give it to you guys. If you're interested, you can go ahead and reserve your spot because there's only 60 spots. But I wanted to do an interview and a resume workshop anyway, but I didn't have anybody to do it, and magically one has appeared. So once you get that link, well, actually I'm going to send it to everybody, but when you see it, you need to go ahead and register because I can't give it to you guys and I give it to everybody else. I can't do that with this and the college fair. All right. So make sure you guys do that. This is going to be a great opportunity because they have a lady that's coming and it's supposed to be really great. Also, some of you guys may have received an email from me, 2 or 3 of them, about the College Prep Scholars. This is something for students that are in the top 5 to 10% of the class. And if you are, you would have received multiple emails from me. And you do have to have an income requirement that is met to do these summer programs. So you can sign up for these summer programs. And if you get selected as a scholar, they're free. Okay? But the application is due at the end of the month and it is extremely long. So if you are one of those students and you want to do it, let's get it done. All right. So now we're going to get into the core. Oh, does anybody have any questions? What's your name? Okay. So up on the screen here, this is an acronym that some people use for college fit. Basically, college fit means that you are picking some colleges that fit some needs or some wants that you have. So we like to use the acronym SLAM. So that stands for social, location, academic, and money. Okay. So when you are looking at these colleges to go to, whatever type they are, you want to look to see what they offer you guys socially on campus. Because again, this is where you're going to spend 4 and sometimes maybe 5 or 6 years of your life. Yes, I did say 5 and 6 because unfortunately now they're saying that the average student graduates in 4 to 6 years. So there's some ways to avoid that. So if somebody wants me to explain that at the end, if I have time, I'll do it. If not, it'll probably come up in another class. But you want to make sure that they have some activities on campus, some clubs and organizations that you are interested in. Because to be honest, you're going to have a lot of downtime in college. So you guys are in class 35 hours a week, right? In college, you are in class 12 to 18 hours a week. And you have all this free time. So of course you're supposed to use some of that time to study, but you know what people do, right? They're taking a nap, they're catching up on their shows, they're hanging out with their friends and doing all kinds of other stuff. So what is there to do on campus? All right, if you want to do sports, whether it's D1, D2, D3, or intramural sports, you want to see that they have the sport that you are looking for. You want to see what the town looks like around the school. I have visited some schools before and have been very creeped out by the area around the school. The last school that I went to visit, I was totally creeped out. The drive there, I almost turned around and went back home because it was kind of creepy looking for like 5 whole minutes. That's a long time of creepiness. But when I got on the campus is very enclosed. And it's actually a beautiful campus. I was gonna try to see if we could go visit there, but it's out of the parameter of our visit. But you wanna see what the people look like, how they respond to you. If they look at you and go, "Hi, how are you?" Or if they look at you and go, "Hide my purse," right? You want to look at those things. You want to look to find out how far is Target? How far is Walmart? Do they have Ubers and Lyfts? Because I went to go visit a college a couple years ago and they didn't have Lyft service or Ubers. Like, what is that? Right? So those things may be important to you. You want to look for those things. Location. Do you want something in the city, like a Temple, like a Drexel, like a University of Penn? Or is that going to be too busy for you? Or more importantly, is that going to be a big distraction for you and you're going to be downtown, trying to do your thing and not going to class, okay? Is it going to be a rural school way out in the woods somewhere, okay? Is it going to be a small, medium, or large school? Do they have a lot of students, like 20,000 students, or do they have 3,000 students? Because one, that's going to affect the size of your classes, and it's also going to affect, how many people you see. So if you go to Penn State University Park, you may meet new people every day for all the time that you're there. Or you may go to a smaller school like Ursinus down the road, and by the first month of school, you'll pretty much know everybody that's there. You're not going to know all their names, but you will know their faces, and you will know who the guests are on campus, right? So you got to decide what you want from that. If you want to go out of state, if you want to go international. And then most importantly, your academics. There are a lot of people who pick colleges that don't have their major. That's stupid, right? But people do it all the time. And what's a major, by the way? Is y'all like, yeah, what's a major?
What you want to specialize in? What you want to specialize in?
Yes, what you want to specialize in. What is the subject area that you want to do, right? And so you need to find the school that has your major. Now, some of you guys don't know your major, and that's totally okay. Actually, the number one major in college is called undecided. But you want to start looking to see what your main interests are and try to see what school has what, and that's what we're going to work on a little bit later today. You want to see if they have options for research, if that's something for you. If they do travel abroad, what kind of schedule do they have? Is it a semester block or a fluid schedule? So most colleges are a semester 1, semester 2 situation, right? Just like we are here. But there are some schools, like let's say Drexel, that has a trimester system. And so one of those trimesters, you may go on what's called a co-op, which means that you're working in some area that you want to work in, and you get paid to, learn, right? Then there may be some schools like Colorado College that has a block schedule where you take one class at a time. I know, right? So you take one class for 4 hours for a couple of weeks, finish the class, move on to the next one. That's not for everybody. And it's only a few colleges that do that, but it could be for you. All right. And then lastly, the money, the coins, the bag, grants and loans, if that's going to offset the price for you. So grants and loans you get because you're filling out a financial aid application. They have work study where you can get a job on campus. Can you commute? Okay. So does anyone have any questions about that? Those are the key things that you want to start looking at when you are putting together your list. All right. Let me just take attendance real quick. Is Emily here? Is Nellie here? Alea here? Is Jayla here? All right. All right, got y'all marked in. All right, cool. So what we are going to do is we are going to look at your Naviance account. So can you pull out your Chromebook, which you all have, and I would like you guys to, you're going to go to your class link and look for a teal green icon that says Naviance. Class link and look for a teal green icon that says Naviance. You guys see it? And click on that and your screen should pop up just like this. Is everyone there? Yes, no, maybe so? Okay. So we went over this in one of the first classes that we had. I'm not gonna go over the whole thing. I sent you guys the link to everything that we go over in this class this morning. And there are some video tutorials that show you how to go through Naviance in total. But today, we're going to look at how to look at a college visit. So you remember another conversation, I promised you guys I was gonna have some colleges come in to visit? They're coming. So they started signing up already. So if you scroll to the bottom of your screen to where it says what's new, we already have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 colleges that are scheduled to attend. And they're 4-year schools and 2-year schools, okay? So you're looking at this list. If you want to get some more information on Lebanon Valley College, you're gonna click more info. And it's gonna show you the date and the time. It's gonna tell you who your rep is. The rep is the person who's gonna be reviewing your application with other people. So the registration date, you click on Lebanon Valley College, and it's gonna pull up some stats for you. What is the average price that you would have to pay? Or the average price is gonna cost before financial aid? The graduation rate, what percent of these students graduate in 4 or 6 years? Remember we talked about that, 4 or 6 years. Their acceptance rate, what percent of students do they accept? So 78% is pretty decent, but you gotta have, some good grades to get in there. There's 10 other colleges that overlap the school, meaning that they're very similar, or people who apply to Lebanon Valley College usually apply to these 10 schools. And then it shows their next deadline, okay? So every school will have it set up like this, and if you want more information about it, there should be a link in here somewhere where you can click. Oh, and there's some more information here, and there should be a link in here somewhere where you can go on their website and get more information. And then on the bottom, if you already decided that you want to explore this school more, you can just click, I'm thinking about this school, or I'm going to apply to the school, and go ahead and put it on your list. You can always take it off your list. And then if you would like to register for this visit, up here where it says status and registration, all you do is click registration, and that's it. And so it will show me here who's all signed up for what. So right now we have 2 people signed up for Alvernia, 1 person signed up for Tampa, and 2 people signed up for Immaculata, right? So this is what I want to ask you guys. And so when I ask you this question, I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot, pick on you, or embarrass, okay? So I need you to answer honestly. Where's Nellie? Out of the schools that are on the screen, which ones have you heard of before? Okay. All right. What about you?
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet? Is there anybody else that agrees with him that most of those schools you don't know who they are? Which should be most of you. That's you agree to? So that's what happens when you guys look in the portal. I'm pointing here, but y'all over here. When you guys look in that portal, a lot of those schools are going to be foreign to you, and you really don't know how to pick a school or how to go visit. So some people just randomly just pick stuff. But so I'm going to teach you how to put your list together so you don't have to randomly pick them. So now it's only going to be so many colleges that come to visit because it's only had so many slots. I think totally we may have 25, maybe 30. So if the list is so short now, you can pick through there. But this is what I want you guys to do. Any questions so far? All right. I want you to go back to your home screen. Click on this tab that says colleges. Find your fit, and you're going to go to Super Match College Search. Super Match College Search. You're going to go to college, find your fit, Super Match College Search. Does everyone see that? Cool. All right. So what this is going to allow you guys to do is to put together a list of colleges. So when you start putting this list together, there may be 30, 40, 50 colleges on here. Don't worry about that. Your goal is to, by the time you come into school in the fall, to get that list down to 6 to 12 schools. So some of you may only want to apply to 2 schools, but you should apply to more than that, because as I'm talking to seniors now, they're getting into their top choices. That's not the problem. What's the problem? They're getting accepted into their school. What do you think the problem is? There's no backup plan, but when you go to college, can you go for free? I mean, you could, but in most cases you do have to pay, right? Students find that their first or second choice, after they crunch the numbers, when they get the letter from the school, they might not be able to afford it. So that's why we want you guys to apply to 6 to 12 schools so you can have some options. So in between classes, from first period to second period, in between the groups that I had, a student sent me some information and I went over their financial aid packages they got from 2 schools. One was good and the other one was trash. And I knew the second one was going to be trash. And I know that the next 2 that they get are going to be trash too. Just because I just know the trends with those schools. So we don't want you to be disappointed and then scramble in March to try to figure out what to add. Just add them in the beginning. So how many of you guys are trying to go to the prom? You trying to go to homecoming, all that stuff, right? Raise your hand. Any special events you got to get dressed for? Somebody's wedding, you got to get an outfit, right? You can't come with what you have on. You got to get something. You got to go to the mall. Are you just going to one store? Are you just picking up one outfit? No, y'all trying to go wear King of Prussia out. You trying to go to all the stores, ask the lady, can she hold this for 24 hours? Can you hold this? You going online, looking for stuff. You're gonna pick a whole bunch of stuff, but you're only gonna pick one. So it's the same situation. So here, this lets you search schools by location, cost, and size to find your best fit. You get to categorize your criteria because you have 2 columns here, nice to have and must have, okay? Then you can customize what you see. You can pin and favorite your schools that you have come across so that you don't have to remember where they are. You can compare the schools that you pinned, okay? And then you can search for a specific school that you already have in mind and pin that to the list. You got it? So when you go through here, the thing is going to guide you through location, academics, admission. This is all the stuff that we talked about. And then those extra things, the social things, you got student life, diversity, institution characteristics, cost, athletics. When you go through here, you don't need to check you don't have to answer every single box. If it's not important to you, or if you don't know what it is, just skip that box, because some people put something in every category that makes their list too small. And so what I want you guys to do is to go ahead and start filling that out, so we'll put that list for you. But what I want you guys to do is in the cost section, skip that. Don't check that one. Because most of you guys at our school are free or reduced lunch students when you were elementary school, which probably means that you still are now. You may get a lot of grant money for college. What do we say grants are? What kind of money? You see me smiling, right? Who said free? Free money. You don't have to pay it back. So anytime you hear the word scholarship, grants, those are good words, okay? So you may get a lot of grant money and some other stuff that offsets the cost of college. So if you come upon a college that sees like it's too expensive, it says it's $60,000, $70,000 a year to stay there, but they fit everything that you're looking for, you keep it on your list, because you don't know what's gonna happen, okay? All right, so I'm gonna stop talking for right now. And if you guys can go through here, if you got any questions, raise your hand, I'll come around. You got questions? You just stretch it. And what time is this class over? 10:31 or 10:36? 10:31? Any questions so far? And if there's a word that you don't understand, again, I'm assuming that everyone in here doesn't know anything about college planning as we're teaching this program. So you can whisper it to me, you can ask me to come up and write it on a piece of paper, and I'll write the answer on a piece of paper. So I'm gonna give you guys about 3 more minutes, because of course you can continue working on this afterwards, but there's about 3 more things I want to share with you, and then we'll be done. So while you guys are clicking those selections, other things that you want to consider. Some of you guys are trying to go out of state because you want to get as far away from your household as possible. That's nice. However, just be mindful that when you do go out of state, sometimes you have to pay what's called out-of-state tuition if it's a public school, and so it's going to cost you more. The second thing that you want to take into consideration is that you are going to lose state grant money that will not go outside of Pennsylvania with you. So one day we're going to have a financial aid conversation. But in general, when you get money from your financial aid application, if you are eligible, you get money from the federal government, you'll still get that. But the state money, you will not receive that. Okay, so you just need to take that into consideration. There are about maybe 5 states that have a relationship with us, and they'll let you keep some of the money, but it's only going to be $600. So I'm not telling you to not go out of state. I'm just saying that as you're doing your calculations, just be mindful of that. For those of you who want to get as far away from your parents as possible. How are your lists coming along? All right, so for the ladies who came in a little bit later, there was 2 important things that you missed. One, either tomorrow or Monday, I'm gonna send the whole school a link for a resume and an interview workshop. It's gonna be March the 26th, but whatever the last Tuesday is of the month. They only have space for 60 students, and this is going out to the entire school. So if that's something that you want to sign up for, you want to go ahead and sign up for that ASAP. Most likely, I'm going to drop it first thing in the morning. It just really depends on how much time I have today. So a couple of times throughout the course of the day, if you're interested in doing that, it's going to be hosted by Chick-fil-A. They have a speaker that's coming in from out of town. It's going to really like train you guys and do mock interviews, all that kind of stuff. Okay. The second thing is they're now allowing us to do field trips. So I'm planning 3 or 4 college visits for just this group. Okay. So I will let you guys know first, and then I'll give you about a day. And then the general population, if they want to pick up a permission slip, they can do it. But you can only pick one school because I don't want the people who are quick hogging up all the spots and then nobody goes anywhere but y'all. So out of the 4, you'll pick one so that can make sure that everybody can go somewhere. And then if I have some more space, if you want to sign up for something else, you can. All right, so I'll have some information about that next week. I may call you guys down real quick and just give you the slips. I'm not going to wait until our next meeting. All right. So what I would like you guys to do, well, before I do that, can somebody give me some feedback about this list? Is it helpful? Is it trash? What's going on with the list or this app? Is what? Is helpful? Okay. Anyone else? All right. So what I would like you to do is I would like you to go back to your home screen. And just for today, if you can pick at least one of these colleges to do a visit with, because again, I'm having them come. And it's okay for you guys to pick random ones here, because you guys are now, I'm just giving you practice, so when they come in the fall, you know what the expectations are, you know what to ask. So I would like for you guys right now, just to look through here really quickly and pick one school. And you can pick more than one, but pick at least one. Because again, I scheduled these colleges for you guys. And so what happens is, once you guys pick these colleges a couple of days before the visit, I'll put you in a Google Calendar, just like you are for this class, and I'll send you a reminder a day before and the day of the event. So we have colleges that are coming between March the 24th all the way to May 12th. So each week you want to go in here and look just to see who's been added, because we usually don't do spring visits. So people, once they see that we're in here, they're gonna fill them up. Okay. All right. So when you guys got your email this morning, as usual, I sent you a link that has everything that we talk about that you need to reference in there. Here's another college search engine that you like, that you can use. And to be honest, I kind of like this one a little bit better than Naviance. But Naviance is good because it stores it in there. So when you're trying to do your college, you don't have to go back and forth between the two platforms. This is called Big Future through College Board. So College Board is where you do your SAT, right? So they have the thing based off of locations, majors, type, or campus life. So you can pick to whatever categories is the most important to you and go from there. So that's number one. Number two, some of you may not know what your major is, okay? Or you have 2 or 3 things that you are looking at. So when you do your search, you can type in different majors and just add them to your search. And maybe we can find some schools for you that have both of them or all 3 of the choices that you have, just so it can avoid you transferring from one college to another, right? So have you guys heard anything about what happens when you transfer from one college to another? All right, who here came from another high school? Is there anybody here who wasn't in Norristown the whole time? All right, so let's say you went to Methacton. I don't know why you want to be at Methacton, but you're at Methacton and you transfer over here, right? We're gonna look at that transfer from Methacton and you're gonna get credit for every course that you took. We're gonna put it on your transcript. Colleges don't do that. When you try to transfer from one college to another, they're gonna look to see what major you're going into, the classes that is required for you to graduate and only take those credits. So it could be very possible that you are transferring to Arcadia after your second year thinking that you are a sophomore and you may still be a first semester freshman, okay? And it's not that they're trying to be mean, it's just that the credits don't. So that's something that you wanna try to avoid transferring as much as possible, and in order to do that, you gotta get that search right, okay? The last thing I wanna show you is that for those of you who don't know what your major is, or you want to explore some more to make sure that that's what you wanna do, you're gonna go to this link that I gave you. It's called Career Finder, and this is also on College Board. So when you start exploring in here, it's going to, I just got played. It says don't send or send, but if you hit don't send, it won't let you move forward. All right, just be mindful, College Board is gonna send you a bunch of email. So when you get in here, you're going to go, the first screen that you're gonna go to is gonna look like this. So it's gonna ask what interests you the most. So you're gonna go through here and pick 2. So I'm just gonna pick acting and theater, and I'm gonna pick law. Then it's gonna ask you what lights you up at your core, meaning what really excites you. So I'm just gonna pick helping people. Okay? So now what this is gonna do is not doing it because I've already been through here. Let me see if I can find it. Because I went too far in here. It's going to give me bios of real people who are in these careers that you can either watch a video. You can also go on LinkedIn, which is an app that professionals use to put their resumes on to find things about people. But it's supposed to give you a list of here it is, a list of careers to consider. So based off of what I clicked, this is what popped up for that. And then as you go through these and look at them, you can save some of them that are of interest to you. And then at some point, it's going to give you a list of majors to consider. We also have access to Smart Futures, which you guys have been using, right, to do your inventories. You can also go in Smart Futures and do the same thing. So I really like this tool because it gives you information about salaries, how much money you can make outside of, right after school, if you've been doing it for a while, which state pays the most money in these careers, et cetera, et cetera. So it's really cool. There's some people who will talk to you about their path towards graduation that they have. Okay? Any questions? All right, so what I would like you to do before we leave, everyone has to give me an answer. One thing that you learned today that you did not know already, and I hear some of you going, oh, I don't want to talk. Just one thing that you didn't know already. Yep, the transfer process, absolutely. Got to be careful with that transfer. Also, if you're planning on going to Montco and transferring to a 4-year college, and they say go to Montco for 2 years to transfer, that's not so cut and dry. You're going to have to take the maximum amount of all of your classes and go in the summertime and make sure you don't have to do any remedial classes, meaning that sometimes you take a test and they put you in a class. Sometimes you don't get credit for those remedial classes. And so most students, it does take them longer than 2 years. But that's something we'll talk about in another class. Great point. All right, I'm gonna call everybody. So y'all might as well go ahead and
We just said about
about Montco? Okay. I know y'all don't know everything I talked about. One thing that you learned today that you didn't know already. We got a room full of experts in here. What did we learn today? And there's way more than that. So she said she learned about some websites. Oh, I'm probably y'all get my steps and I have my watch on. You knew everything I talked about today? We talked about colleges, we talked about putting a list together. What about it?
100 degrees in here.
Video.
It's 100 degrees.
So different majors. So you saying you can take different majors. Yep, so assembling the list, a lot of important to have a list. Different colleges for options, and also to make sure that the college is a good fit. Awesome. Yeah, I've got my own time walking over there, people will answer the question. So she said that it's good for you guys to make sure that you narrow that list down to 6 to 12 schools. That's ideally what we want you to have. And we also give you guys fee waivers, and you don't have to pay for applications. How about that? Hey, girlfriend. Okay, so how to choose college is the best fit for you? What is one of the most important things that you have to have? Non-negotiable. They have to be in Pennsylvania, does it have to have certain sport? Pennsylvania? I know you're trying to go to the beach. Thank y'all for helping me get my steps in today, I appreciate it. Did you go over it? You went over it, so you didn't go? I don't know where you going. You didn't go. Okay, so college search and the information about my college. And last but definitely not least. All right, you see how easy that was? One of your questions. So she said about Drexel and how they have these co-op programs. You know, so for those of you who are going into business, especially, you know, you want to start looking at these experiences that they have to offer you. And then everybody also has travel abroad and stuff now too. All right. So again, please make sure you pick at least one college. Number two, make sure you look for my email tomorrow about the leadership thing. And number three, thank you guys for coming. Have a great one. Enjoy the rest of your day.